Hey everyone, Deep Fried Paint here. We're just gonna keep right along with the tutorial set that I have been working on. Once all of these are done and the workload at school dies down a bit, I'll whip up another animatic story for you guys. I know how much you love them. So where we left off in the previous tips and tricks clip, we had these two lovely faces. I'm going to do an interesting practice where I do the opposite on each side. So with the longer, ovalish, sad-looking face on the left, I'm going to see what happens when I depict a cold emotion with warm colors. I will also be painting this one a bit more. So the one on the right will be cool colored to represent a warm emotion, and I might paint it, I might do a cleaner line art and use that, not certain yet. While I'm working, I'm going to show you guys pieces I did before my education at Ringling to show kind of what I didn't understand then versus what I understand now. You guys are going to get to see my old artwork prepare for the cringe. So diving right into painting, you gotta understand how the face works in a 3D sense. If you look at a face, there are forms that face outward and upward, and there are those that face inward and downward. These features are what defines light and shadow on the face. So thinking about the way light hits the face, the parts of the face that will be lightest is of course the forehead, the upper eyelids, the top of the cheeks that rest just below the lower eyelids, the top of the nose, the flesh that connects the nose to the upper lip, the top of the bottom lip, and the upper part of the chin. Features of the face that face inward and are usually darker are just below the brow before the upper eyelid, the lower eyelid, we'll talk more about that in a bit, the cheeks where they start to curve inward to the chin, underneath the nose, the upper lip, and underneath the bottom lip. Here in this old piece of mine I did of Jinx from League of Legends, oh god. I had a bit of it going well, but I only did it where I felt it was obvious, underneath the eyebrows and on the side of the nose. Below that, her face gets very, very flat. Funny little nitpick, even if the shadow was there on the nose, it should be on the opposite side where all the other shadows are, against the explosion in the background. Oh my god, why? Here's some small tips to add on to this info. When you shade in black and white, you can go a long way with 4 tones, 2 light and 2 dark. With 4 tones, you get the basic shading of a face. Highlight, midtones, reflective light, and shadow. Reflective light happens when light bounces off of a shadowed surface. This is where the lower eyelids come in. Since light is bouncing off of the cheeks below, they are a bit lighter than straight shadow. The same can be said about the under part of the nose, and even the brow before the upper eyelid. It depends on how strong the lighting is in a composition, and of course how the face appears. When you go to apply reflective light in a colored painting, it'll be way more successful if you use a more saturated color compared to the shadow and the midtones. Also, mild tip on painting and painting successfully. You can choose to follow it or not, at least give it a shot. 1 highlighted area per piece. If you highlight too bright all over the composition, the eye will have nowhere to rest, and it'll wash out the piece as a whole. Here in this old piece of mine, oh, fuck me, I used a lot of highlights on the girl's arms and even her cheeks. This really flattened out the composition, and why the hell did I do a yellow highlight? It makes her look sick in this compared to her more muted skin. People commissioned me back in this time. Why? Finally, when you shade in color, you're going to want to alter the hue you are using to be different from the skin of the face itself. Here where I am working, the skin is an orange color, but the shadow looks red and even has hints of purple possibly, where the highlights in her skin are kind of light yellow. Vary it up. Shadows are not just darker tones of the skin, they are kind of different. Here in this old piece I defined the shadows underneath her cheekbones with relatively the same color as her skin. And quite frankly, it just looks like she didn't put her foundation on right. I mean, my god. These kind of tips can also be used for more than just faces. They can be used for hair, clothes, anything really. Even other parts of the body. And you'll see me kind of shade the hair where her curls are facing inward and lighten where it's facing outward. Hopefully this has been helpful, or at the very least you've gotten a laugh out of my old drawings. I actually think I have a speed paint of one of these if you want to see a poor example of what to do. If this has been helpful, let me know. I really do appreciate the input, and if you have any other questions or advice questions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a good one.